Hey Joel, so how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great.
So today I'll be teaching you about conquering weight loss and diabetes together. So today our learning objectives today are describe body functions that prevent weight loss, differentiate body weights from body fat, identify ways to overcome the body functions that prevent weight loss, explain the effects of nutrition on weight loss and gaining muscle, calculate recommended caloric intake and protein intake, connect weightlifting contribution to weight loss and muscle gain, create an effective weightlifting routine to build muscle, list the benefits of aerobic exercises, list the types of diabetes, and practice preventive measures against diabetes. So our first topic for the day is how your body fights weight loss. So your metabolism will slow down to store fat when you exercise a lot or control your caloric intake to shed pounds. Your metabolism may react by slowing down to maintain your current weight. This response is known as metabolic compensation. Essentially, your body tries to preserve fat storage for future energy needs. Next, your hormones will increase your drive to eat. When you lose weight, your body undergoes various changes beyond just metabolic adjustments. One key aspect involves the communication between fat cells in your brain. Fat cells release a hormone called leptin, signaling to your brain that you're full. As you shed pounds, your fat cells shrink, reducing leptin production, which can make you feel less satisfied after eating. Additionally, your stomach also produces ghrelin, a hormone that prompts hunger signals to your brain, signaling when it's time to eat. When you lose weight, your ghrelin levels increase, leading to more frequent feelings of hunger and a desire to eat more often. These hormonal changes contribute to the challenges of maintaining weight over time. Thirdly, weight loss impacts your brain. Specifically, the area of the brain responsible for food restraint becomes less active. This means that while you may be eating more to satisfy your hunger cues, thanks to the influence of leptin, you're simultaneously less conscious of how much you're consuming. Essentially, this can lead to a situation where you're eating more without fully realizing it, which can hinder weight loss efforts and contribute to weight regain. Fourthly, your genes play a role. More than 400 genes are connected to obesity and weight gain, affecting things like appetite, metabolism, and where fat is stored in the body. While it's not fully clear how much genes determine weight, some make it harder to lose weight even with exercise and dieting. If you're genetically predisposed to obesity, being proactive about managing your weight is key by preventing weight gain through healthy habits like eating well and staying active. Fifth, your body is extra prepared for your second try. What this means is that if you've lost weight before by exercising or changing your diet, and you try those methods again to lose weight, your body will adapt to prevent the same level of weight loss. This means you might see fewer results compared to your previous attempt. 6, your weight may have a favorite number. What this means is that our bodies have a set point weight, which is a weight range that our metabolism, hormones, and brain work to maintain. For example, if I weigh 145, my body will try to regulate that weight and keep my body at that weight. This set point can be influenced by factors like genetics, aging, previous weight loss experiences, and hormonal changes. People may naturally have higher or lower set points than others. 7, your weight loss might not look like you expected. After achieving significant weight loss, your body might not look exactly as you imagined. It's common to experience stretch marks and loose skin, which can be challenging both physically and emotionally. 8, your emotional health is independent of your weight. When people lose weight and still feel unhappy about other parts of their lives, it can create a cycle of dissatisfaction. They might feel guilty for not being happy after losing weight and might turn to food for comfort. Our next topic is the difference between body weight and body fat. So this graphic shows you the difference between body fat and explains to you what it is. So basically, body weight, it consists of everything in your body, which is muscles, or which could be anything like muscles, bones, water weight, and even organs. While body fat just consists of only fat. Tools to figure out your body composition, like such as your body fat percentage, are MRIs, DEXA scans, and bioelectrical impedance. Our third topic for the day will be diets that allow weight loss to happen, such as nutritionally balanced hypocaloric diets, high protein, low carbohydrate diets, and high fiber diets. Keep in mind that there will be no of this. Nutritionally balanced hypocaloric diets are a widely recommended approach by dietitians for weight loss. Involves nutritionally balanced hypocaloric diet, which entails consuming familiar foods but in reduced quantities. So this would mean that you eat your regular foods but in smaller portions. This strategy aligns with the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Food Guide Pyramid, advocating for a diverse diet primarily centered around grains, fruits, and vegetables, with moderation in dairy and meat intake, while limiting high-fat and high-sugar foods. Key to this method is educating individuals about appropriate portion sizes, such as a single slice of bread or a 1/3 ounce serving of meat, which many are unaware of. This approach is particularly convenient for group settings like military bases, as it only requires scaling down portion sizes, ensuring adequate nutrition. Clinical studies and recommendations by regulatory bodies like the by the FDA support the efficacy of balanced hypocaloric diets in weight loss interventions. High protein, low carbohydrate diets. The debate over macronutrition ratios in adult diets have focused on comparing fat and carbohydrate intake, with recent interest in the role of protein. Studies comparing higher protein diets to higher carbohydrate diets have found no significant difference in weight loss, yet high protein diets have shown promise in preserving lean body mass, potentially improving body composition. Introduced to the public in 1970s and 1980s by figures like Stillman, Baker, and Atkins, high protein, low carbohydrate diets, varying in fat content, would have garnered attention despite limited scientific backing. While some authors claim mental and physical performance benefits, scientific support is lacking, and concerns persist regarding rapid initial weight loss due to water loss, posing risk, especially for people in the military where dehydration can impair performance. High protein, low carbohydrate diets may reduce total daily energy intake due to food monotony and increased satiety from protein, alongside carbohydrate restriction include. However, the rapid initial weight loss primarily reflects water loss, raising concerns for military preparedness. While short-term studies suggest benefits such as fat-free mass preservation and improvements in lipid and insulin levels. Lastly, high fiber diet. Low-fat diets often coincide with highly dietary fiber content, with attributing the benefits of low-fat diets to the abundance of vegetables and fruits containing substantial dietary fiber. High-fiber diets are thought to impact energy intake and metabolism through various mechanisms, including caloric dilution, prolonged chewing and swallowing, improved gastrointestinal motility, and enhanced satiety. Despite these potential benefits, controlled studies on dietary fibers' effect on weight loss generally show minimal or no reduction in body. While dietary fiber supplements are often promoted for weight loss and reducing cardiovascular and cancer risk, short-term studies using purified or partially purified fiber have shown improvements in serum lipids, glucose, or insulin levels. However, long-term studies have not consistently replicated these findings. Current recommendations favor obtaining fiber from whole fruits and vegetables rather than supplements. So before we continue, what is one diet that you remember?
Low carb, high protein. High protein, low carb.
Okay, and what is the difference between body weight and body fat?
Body weight is it consists of muscles. It could consist of muscles, water weight, and then bones and some organs. While body fat is just fat.
Okay. So for effect effects of nutrition on the body. This is the study that I used to gather my information. So diet quality and quantity matter. The relationship between calorie intake and weight is well established. Consuming more calories than the body burns leads to weight gain, while consuming fewer results in weight loss. However, the type of calories, whether from fat, protein, or carbohydrates, as well as the specific foods and diets, can impact weight control. Research indicates that certain foods and diet patterns, such as whole grain, vegetables, fruits, and nuts, not only protect against chronic diseases, but also aid in weight management. Conversely, refined grains and sugar drinks, which increase disease risk, are also linked to weight gain. While conventional wisdom suggests that weight control boils down to eating less and exercising more, emerging research suggests that some foods and eating patterns may facilitate calorie control, while others may lead to overeating. Therefore, understanding the impact of dietary intake on weight control is crucial. So, macronutrients and weight, do carbs, protein, or fat matter? In controlled laboratory studies, the proportion of calories from fat, protein, and carbohydrates doesn't significantly impact weight loss. However, in studies where individuals have freedom in food choice, a higher protein, lower carbohydrate approach may offer some benefits for weight management. Nonetheless, for the prevention of chronic diseases, the emphasis shifts to the quality and food sources of these nutrients rather than their relative quantity in diet. Recent research indicates that the message of focusing on diet quality applies equally to weight control efforts. Thus, prioritizing nutrient-rich foods and healthy dietary patterns emerges as crucial for both weight management and chronic disease prevention. So these are the specific foods that make it easier or harder to control weight. So for example, we have grains and nuts and dairy, and then we also have sugary drinks and juices. So whole grains like whole wheat, brown rice, and barley, along with minimally processed vegetables and fruits, are digested slowly, leading to gradual impact on blood sugar and insulin levels. This slow carbohydrate effect can help in controlling hunger. These foods, often termed slow carbs, offer numerous benefits for disease prevention and may also aid in preventing weight gain. And nuts, despite their high calorie and fat content, nuts are no longer considered taboo for dieters. Studies suggest that consuming nuts does not lead to weight gain and may even aid in weight control. This could be attributed to their richness in protein and fiber, which contribute to a feeling of fullness and reduced hunger. Third, we have dairy. Despite aggressive promotion by the U.S. dairy industry touting the weight loss benefits of milk and dairy products, recent research paints a different picture. A review of nearly 50 randomized trials found little evidence supporting the notion that high dairy or calcium intakes aid in weight loss. Similarly, long-term follow-up studies have failed to establish a protective effect of dairy or calcium against weight gain. In fact, one study in adolescents even found a positive association between high milk intakes and increased body mass index. Fourth, sodas. Research consistently shows sugary drinks contribute to weight gain, obesity, and diabetes risk, with each additional serving associated with higher body mass index and increased diabetes risk. Heart consumption may also elevate heart risk disease. Despite rising intake, cutting back on sugary drinks has been linked to weight loss in both children and adults, highlighting the importance of targeting them in obesity prevention efforts. Lastly, it's worth noting that fruit juices, even those labeled as 100% fruit juice without added sugar, are not a better option for weight control compared to sugar-sweetened beverages. They contain similar amounts of sugar and calories per ounce as sugary sodas. So now we'll be watching a video on how to calculate your recommended caloric intake.
How's it going, guys? My name is Richie Kerwin, and today we're going to talk about what a calorie deficit is. Why is it? So,
we show you will be how to calculate your protein intake. Your recommended protein intake.
Do you ever get confused with all the different recommendations for protein that you see? Are you confused about how much you need to fill? Let's start off with clearing the air around the recommended daily intake of protein, which is advised by the World Health Organization and most governments. The recommended amount depends on your body weight, because if you're bigger, with more muscle, you'll need a little more to maintain it. Now, in this video, we're going to mention a lot of numbers, but don't worry. I'll explain how to apply them to yourself. When I talk about body weight, I'm talking about people who don't have a large amount of body fat. If you do have a lot of body fat and you calculate your protein intake based on your weight, you may get a very high number. So instead, you can just roughly calculate your healthy or lean weight using your height and a healthy body mass index of 20. The reason I say healthy in air quotes is because your weight doesn't dictate your health, but BMI is a very common use metric and useful for this calculation. So, how do we calculate your lean weight? Simply multiply your height in meters squared by 25. So if you're 170 centimeters tall, that's 1.7 meters, and your lean weight is 1.7 squared by 25, which is 72.25 kilograms. This is what I use to calculate protein intake for all of my clients. Now, when I talk about how much protein to take, I'm going to mention grams per kilogram of body weight. The World Health Organization, which I mentioned earlier, recommends 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day. How much is that? Well, if you weigh 70 kilos, just multiply your weight by 0.8, and that's how much you should eat. That works out at 56 grams of protein, and I bet a lot of you would eat that in a single meal, right? The reason the recommendation is so low is because it's not a recommendation for muscle gain. It's a recommendation to prevent protein malnutrition, to make sure you don't become deficient in protein. A lot of government recommended nutrient intakes are designed with that in mind, to prevent deficiencies. So they may not be optimal for interim gains. In reality, most RDIs are perfectly adequate when maintaining health. But when it comes to protein, we can do better.
So now we will calculate your recommended calorie intake. So first, I need to get your weight in pounds. So I'm gonna ask you how much you need. 100 or how many kilograms? 110 kilograms in pounds is 242. Okay, so we multiply 242 you get 1,100. Okay, and now what is your height? Okay. Oops. So what is would you say that you don't really exercise too much? Like you have minimal exercise, or you moderately exercise? How many times a week do you exercise? Or how active are you in a single day?
Active.
Just okay, so I'll do.
I'm still very active. I'm walking. Playing basketball every day.
We'll say moderate. It's very active means that like you are constantly like working and constantly like lifting heavy things.
But I'd say walking. It's okay. Oh, I see that.
I think that's a little too much.
Nice, you are actually good. I'm a very active person. I just have to nothing.
Okay. You are confirmed. Okay. That's in my way. So your maintenance calories will be 3,117.
Calories per day.
Yeah, calories per day. But that is your maintenance. If you want to lose weight, you'll eat lower than this much, than this number. And if you want to gain weight, then you eat more than that number. Okay, and now you used to be 110 per pound multiplied by. Are you trying to build muscle or
Lose weight.
just lose weight? Using that. So your recommended protein intake for building muscle would be 176, but just for moderate activity, it would be just 132 grams for just moderate activity. So next, we'll be moving into how weightlifting and its contributions to weight loss and building muscle. And this is the case study that I used to gather my information. So first, resistance training and changes in total body mass and absolute fat mass. The resistance training regime utilized in these studies aligns with the upper limits recommended by the American College of Sports Medicine. Okay. Resistance training and changes in total body mass and absolute fat mass. The resistance training regimen utilized in this study aligns with the upper limits recommended by the American College of Sports Medicine in terms of weekly sessions and sets per session. This regimen led to significant gains in lean body mass and strength without observed body mass loss. Consistent with previous findings, the increase in lean body mass attributed to resistance training was evident, as confirmed by both BOD and POD and thigh muscle area measurements. However, the impact of resistance training on fat mass remains inconclusive in the literature, with some studies showing significant reductions while others report no change or insignificant trends. This study supports the latter observation, emphasizing the significant improvement in lean body mass induced by resistance training. The American College of Sports Medicine proposes 3 potential mechanisms by which resistance training might lead to fat mass loss. Although they acknowledge that the literature on this topic is inconclusive and that resistance training alone may not be effective for weight loss, however, resistance training is still endorsed as an effective treatment for obesity. While consensus documents and study reports often include tables suggesting that resistance training results in decreases in fat percentage, the present study highlights the limitation of reporting changes in fat percent instead of absolute fat mass. In this study, the resistance training group experienced a significant decrease in fat percentage without any change in absolute fat mass, indicating that the decrease in fat percent was solely driven by the increase in lean body mass induced by resistance training. Despite a substantial resistance training program lasting 8 months, the present study did not observe significant total body or fat mass loss. Combined aerobic and resistance training. Our study investigated that additional benefits of adding resistance training to an aerobic training program for reducing fat mass. While a 2000 American Heart Association science advisory suggests that resistance training complements aerobic training for weight control. Recent research by Church et al. Found that combining aerobic and resistance training improved fat mass significantly more than aerobic training, fat mass loss. In individuals with type 2 diabetes, however, our findings from this investigation that indicate that adding resistance training did not significantly enhance the results of the aerobic training group in inducing.
It's just 20 minutes.
Alright, so next we'll be creating an effective weightlifting routine to build muscle. So this is a brochure that I made to help you make a workout plan. So first, you get clear on your goals. So if your goal is, you would figure out whether your goal is to lose weight or build muscle or just lose body fat and get lean. And then next you have to educate yourself in like the motions. So what this means is like selecting sets and reps and like how many sets you're gonna do and how many reps you're gonna do per workout. Then you will have to determine your training frequency and split. So this basically is talking about how often you are going to work out per week. So like, are you going to work out 6 times, 5 times, or 4 times? And your split means what would you be hitting each day? Yeah. So for example, like Monday you will be doing chest, or Tuesday you'll be doing back. Next you will want to make an inventory on your equipment. So what equipment do you have in that you are able to use?
I have dumbbells.
So yeah, that would help you with you would plan your split around your equipment. Next, you will select exercises to put into your split. For example, if you're doing chest, you should select exercises that hit your chest. For example, like bench press, incline press, anything of the sorts. And then you want to also address any mobility challenges. For example, if you can't fully extend your arm, or if you're in pain when you're doing the motions of an exercise, that is something you might want to address. Next, you should consider putting cardio into your splits. Like, if your goal is to be losing weight or to have more lean muscle, you would want to consider putting cardio in it. And then lastly, you would want to build in progression over 4 to 6 weeks. What this means is that every 4 to 6 weeks, you would want to have some sort of progression in your weightlifting. For example, like let's say in February, you're lifting only maybe 100 pounds off a chest press or bench press. And after 4 to 6 weeks, maybe like in March, you would want to at least increase your load by maybe 5-10 pounds. Or even just your rep range, or yeah. Okay. Next we'll be talking about the benefits of aerobic exercises. So, aerobic training offers numerous health benefits, including increased mitochondrial density, insulin sensitivity, and oxidative enzymes, along with improvements in vascular function, lung function, immune function, and cardiac output. It significantly reduces cardiovascular and overall mortality risks in both type 1 and type 2 diabetes. In type 1 diabetes, aerobic training enhances cardiorespiratory fitness, reduces insulin resistance, and improves lipid levels and endothelial function. For individuals with type 2 diabetes, regular aerobic training leads to reductions in A1C triglycerides, blood pressure, and insulin resistance. High-intensity interval training also offers advantages such as rapid enhancement of skeletal muscle, oxidative capacity, insulin sensitivity, and glycemic control in type 2 diabetes. So here are the types of diabetes. There's 2 types of diabetes, type 1 and type 2. Type 1 diabetes is classified as an autoimmune disease characterized by the immune system's attack on pancreatic islet cells, resulting in insulin deficiency. While the precise cause of this autoimmune reaction remains unknown, Several factors are thought to contribute, including genetic predisposition, viral infections, dietary factors, and exposure to certain chemicals. Additionally, individuals may lose their ability to produce insulin due to chronic type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes differs from type 1 in that it is primarily driven by insulin resistance, often associated with excessive body fat. In diabetes type 2, the pancreas makes less insulin than it used to, and your body becomes resistant to insulin. This means your body has insulin, but stops being able to use it. Unlike type 1, type 2 diabetes does not involve an autoimmune response, and typically individuals over 45 years old or in younger individuals with obesity or genetic predispositions. As a result of these differing causes, type 2 and type 1 diabetes exhibit distinct risk factors, diagnostic tests, treatment approaches, preventive strategies, and management priorities. So, risk factors of diabetes. The risk factor for developing type 1 diabetes include a family history of the condition, with parents, siblings, or other relatives affected. While it can develop at any age, it commonly manifests in children, adolescents, or young adults. Additionally, there are demographic differences, with a higher incidence observed among white individuals compared to African American and Hispanic or Latino populations in the States. Risk factors for type 2 diabetes include having prediabetes, being overweight, being aged 45 or older, having a family history of the condition, engaging in physical activity less than 3 times a week, experiencing gestational diabetes during pregnancy, being of certain ethnic backgrounds such as African American, Hispanic, or Latino, American Indian, Alaska Native, Pacific Islander, or Asian American descent. Additionally, individuals with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease may also be at increased risk for type 2 diabetes. However, lifestyle changes like weight loss, adopting a healthy diet, and regular physical activity can help prevent or delay the onset of type 2 diabetes. So here's another brochure that I made. You can read it in your own time, but I'll summarize the topics. So first, we have lose extra weight. Okay. So first, we have lose extra weight, and then be more physically active. Thirdly, we have eat healthy plant foods, eat healthy fats, and skip fad diets and make healthier choices. So here's a quote that I found inspirational, is that if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. For example, this is going to tell you, this is basically telling us that it's going to be challenging trying to lose weight, and you're not going to like it, and it's going to have a big impact on your mental health. But it's okay, because in the end, it's for your own good. Here is a Bible quote to help you. It says, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such thing there is no law." Galatians 5:22. So this is a commitment card that I made. Basically, it's just saying that you're going to commit to the steps that we've talked about in today's lesson. So I just want you to read it out loud to prove that you'll commit yourself to it.
I commit to follow my diabetes prevention plan as a step towards better care.
Okay. And that is all for today's lesson. Thank you
so
for your
much,
time.
Jim.